Welcome, everyone, to our Wednesday call. We are going to be talking about the year of the fire horse and what that means for all of us and kind of some of the background. But really, we're going to focus more on what we can expect and how we can make the most of this really rare and spectacular year. And of course, I love horses. Horses are my heart love. And so it's very exciting to have a year dedicated to them. We just ended the snake, and I have nothing against snakes, but the snake year was pretty heavy. And it was meant to be. It was meant to be very grounded, heavy. We're shedding what no longer works. Once we shed what no longer works, guess what? We're open to doing something bigger and better, right? But Fire Horse is kind of scary because Fire Horse is all about momentum and fire is all about burning. So I wish I could say, yes, this is going to be a fantastical year and all these great things are going to happen because they are. They are. But also, we have to be careful, right? It's fire. So, what fire has to do a lot of times is burn, like burn the vegetation, burn what's no longer working, and then we get to speed and growth, right? So it might be a little painful still. You might have to let go of some relationships that no longer work for you. You might have to let go of certain maybe volunteer or jobs that you have that are no longer working. And it doesn't mean you have to literally burn everything down. You can just know that it's starting, the movement is starting, and you can have faith that you're going to have the strength to get through difficult times. And that's what I love about the horse, because the horse is so strong, so grounded, right? When you think of a horse, they are so grounded, huge animals. But they're also hypersensitive, right? They know exactly what's going on all around them. They're very in tune to what's happening, but they're also very present. And we can take a cue from that, right? We don't have to be this crazy wild horse that is just running because that's not what horses do. Even stallions have peace and strength and grounded centeredness, right? And so for us, when we're thinking about this really crazy year of Fire Horse, because all the pictures that they're showing is like this crazy horse on fire running, right? And like honestly, just even reading what Fire Horse brings, you get a little scared. It's like, whoa, am I really ready for this? Am I ready for this year of wow? Yes, of course you are, because it's not all going to happen at once. It's going to happen gradually, and you have the strength. And so we'll do a meditation at the end so we can connect to our fire horse and really feel that grounded centeredness. So we have lots more people joining. This is so great. I am so happy to have everyone here. And Miranda, it's so great to see you. I haven't seen Miranda in forever, and she is in Panama, so it's really nice to see her. And I know that Monica joined us from Croatia, and I'm not sure if, oh yeah, Alice is here from the UK. We've got Claudia from Nova Scotia, Canada. So we have people from all over, and we all have this one shared intent that we want to have a fantastic year. And we're going to do that with the fire horse. So I'm going to look at my notes because I wrote a lot of notes about this, and I want to make sure that we just kind of hit everything. So one thing about, oh, there's an eagle. One thing I love about the fire horse too, and about the Chinese New Year is one, it comes at a time when we have our traditional New Year's on New Year's Day, January 1st. But then sometimes we get kind of out of it because January is kind of a glum month sometimes, and we can kind of forget what we set our intentions for at the beginning of the year. So the Chinese New Year is really great for us to reconnect and recalibrate. But for all of us who are animal lovers, animal advocates, the Chinese New Year is connecting to an animal and an element is really powerful for us, right? Because we are so connected with animals, we can feel that strength of the Chinese astrology and the Chinese New Year, of whatever animal that is. So I'm super excited that it's the horse because for me, the horse is such a magnificent being. And then when we look at horses and we look at the history of horses, I mean, I think horses can date back, I don't know, something crazy like 40,000 years, maybe even further. But for us, for our modern times or just our civilization times, horses brought us to where we are, right? Horses helped us build. Horses help us get to places. Horses helped us in wars. Horses have always been there for us. They help us with farms. They help us have enjoyment, right? And then they help us to, oh, good, Kelly's here. Yay. So they help us just have that inner peace. They remind us, they reflect and they mirror back to us what is already in us that we might forget. So, like I was saying earlier, just that sensitivity, compassion that horses carry, we also carry that. And what's really exciting about the fire horse is that we're going to be reminded throughout the year that that fire horse is within us, and that strength of character of the horse, that determination, right? So horses, if you think about during times of war or during times of building, they had to show deep inner strength, just like us humans, right? They were pushed further than they probably wanted to be, but they did it because they shared that goal with us, right? They love working with us. So remember that when you're working with the fire horse wants to work with you. Horses love working with humans. So just have that connection, dig deep into that connection with your fire horse. And so I want to go on a little bit about what the horses teach us as spiritual teachers. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because I live in a place where there's bald eagles and there's an eagle, but then there was this huge osprey as well. So I guess the raptors are feeling the energy of the fire horse too. But what I love about horses, and I'm just going to read what I wrote here, they embody authentic freedom, right? The freedom of our spirit, not rebellion, because we can think of horses kind of being as rebellious, especially if we think of them in the traditional way of how people train them. We can think of horses as, oh, they're this rebellious kind of like wild creature, but they're actually not. They're very calm, they're very centered, they're very grounded. It's when we come into their lives and try and force things that then there is rebellion. But on their own, when they're in the wild, or they're living in peace, they are authentic freedom. They have freedom of movement, freedom of spirit. Sorry, I keep needing to add people. And this is such a great crowd for this topic. And thank you so much for being here. And again, I said this earlier, but they are power paired with sensitivity. They're power because they're so big, right? And if you ever stand next to, especially like a Clydesdale, they're huge horses, but they're incredibly sensitive. So we can learn from that, especially as women. There's so many, predominantly more women than men on this call, is that it's really hard for us to find our strength and our power without being like shrill or overly sensitive. And the horse reminds us that we can have power and incredible sensitivity. We can have power and strength and grounded energy along with being empathetic and compassionate. It's really hard sometimes for us to find that balance. So when we tap into that energy of horse, it reminds us that that is within us. We can be calm, we can be loving, and we can be grounded and strong. They also show us how to move through fear with grace. So I don't know if you, for those of you who may not have any experience with horses, sometimes if you have to lead a horse through a place where they're scared, you have to be very grounded, right? And so the fire horse reminds us that even during those difficult times when we might be scared, to just lean into that grounded energy that we keep deep within us and lean into the energy of the fire horse that's also going to be really grounded, right? So when you lead a horse through something they're scared of, you just kind of have to talk them through it and keep that really calm energy. And then once they get through it, they kind of shake it off. And that's us too, right? We can get through difficult times. We just need to give ourselves that reassurance, right? Either it's through our own meditation, it might be through the precepts, it might be through the all is well mantra, but reminding us we have the strength and the power to get through difficult times. Difficult times do not have to destroy us. We're going to go through difficult times this year. You know, we can see it on the horizon. They're going to happen, but we don't have to fear them and we don't have to worry about them. We can know that, you know what, I can get through this. I can make it through. Oh my God, we made it through last year. And last year was pretty crazy. I don't know for all of you, but for me, it was pretty darn crazy. But I made it through and I feel really strong as we're entering in this new phase of the fire horse. So I hope that you do too. And if you don't feel strong, remember you have all the tools that you need, and lean hard into, if you know the precepts, lean into the precepts. If you know the all is well mantra that we always share here, which is you are safe, you are loved, all is well. So that's what we share with shelter animals. But for yourself, I am safe, I am loved, all is well. Giving yourself that mantra. And also, I always end it with everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for me. And when we do that, we shift the energy. When we shift the energy, we're shifting what we're putting out. And we all know, this is scientifically proven, what we put out gets returned to us, right? So the more love you put out, the more love you get back. The more worry you put out, the more worry you get back. Have you ever been super worried about something and you talk to somebody and then they're like, oh yeah, yeah, you probably should be worried about that. Yeah, that's scary. And they start going on and then you just get more worried and more worried. And it seems like everywhere you turn, there's more and more worry. Whereas if you're like, yeah, that's hard. Because for me, it's like there's things that come up and it's like recently I just had this incident. I hate people incidents, where you're like this. And it was somebody that I love deeply. And, you just, oh, and you have to go through that. I'm not saying this is spiritual bypassing, allow yourself to be angry, be upset, be frustrated, but then remind yourself, I am safe. I am loved. All is well. Everything always works out for me. And you repeat your mantra, even though you may not feel it, we repeat it to bring that inner strength back to us. So with the fire horse, when you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, right? Because things are going to happen, things are going to burn down, things are going to change. The fire horse is about momentum. It's about change and frequent change. So don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, this is changing. Oh my gosh, this is happening right now. It's okay. There's a great Zen, like a Buddhist Zen story about, and I'm sure most of you know this, about the farmer. And the farmer has one horse and he has a son and a little farm. And he farms on this with his son and the horse. Well, one day the horse runs off. So his neighbor comes running over and says, oh my gosh, you must be so upset. You lost your horse. What are you going to do? You're not going to be able to farm. It's going to take you forever. And he's like, yeah, perhaps. And then the next day, the horse comes back and brings three more wild horses. And so the neighbor comes running over. Oh my gosh, look at your good fortune. You have four horses now. Oh, and goes on, right? So then the next day, the son is trying to tame one of the horses and falls off and breaks his leg. And so, of course, here comes the neighbor again, all about the worry. What are you going to do? Now you don't have a son. You have three wild horses. Who is going to help you, till your fields, etc. And so the next day, the army comes by to recruit the son for the war, but he can't go because he has a broken leg. So what this illustrates is there are constant ups and downs. Or if you know tarot, if you think of the Wheel of Fortune, right? We're always in a constant Wheel of Fortune where things are going up, things are coming down. It's a constant movement. So there really is no good and bad. It just is. And so if we can remember that and stay in that context with the fire horse, that's a really good way to get through it, because there will be changes. But what the fire horse is going to bring is, yes, she's going to bring, or he, however you're looking at this, bring changes, and they might be burning down some things that you don't want burned down. But the fire horse is also going to bring good things to you, right? Change is necessary sometimes. Change is exciting sometimes. Like, I know for me, I was stuck in a relationship for a very long time that wasn't great for me. And when it ended, of course, I was all sad and torn up about it. But at the end of the day, it was the best thing for me. Was it hard? Incredibly hard. Is it still sometimes hard? Yeah. But at the end of the day, it was the best thing for me. And because of what happened, because it ended, so many other good things have come into my life. So we can look at things that are traumatic or that upset us as, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing that can happen. But if we can lean in, and I'm going to open this up to Kelly, because I know Kelly's here and Kelly just broke her leg. And I know a lot of you have been sending her healing energy and support, and I really appreciate that. But I'm going to open it up in a minute to her to talk a little bit about like what she's gone through, right? Breaking a bone is a really difficult thing, and she's gone through some difficult times. But there's also some really great things that have come about that. So remember, when we look at things that are hard, that the fire horse might bring, there are times of growth, right? And here, and I know Kelly was talking about this too. It's like we send out these messages out to the universe. Oh, I want to be stronger this year. I want to, have more inner strength. And so then the universe is like, oh, great, that's fine. So here's a huge issue you're going to have, and you're going to have inner strength afterwards, after you get through this. But you got to get through it first. And it's like, oh, thanks, universe. So just remember, you're going to have some times like that, but you're also going to have really great times. And the fire horse is going to help you move more quickly through it. Remember, the fire horse is all about momentum. So when you're feeling really stuck, remember, fire horse is going to help you get through this. So I want to talk a little bit about the rarity of this fire horse year. So the fire horse only comes every 60 years. And I think the last time, so what would that have been, like 1966? And, that was the time of the Vietnam War, but it was also the time where there were a lot of awareness around like civil rights movements. The Black Panthers were formed in 1966. There were also cultural revolutions going on around the world. So when these years happen, and I'm sure we could say this for a lot of different years, right? So we can't get too caught up into, oh, 60 years ago, this happened, so something big is going to happen. We already know big things are happening. We already know culturally that big things are happening. We have wars going on, but we also have AI that's happening, right? So, think about when the World Wide Web started. That was a whole new frontier. Well, it's the same with AI. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? I think it's going to be just like the World Wide Web. There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. There's always that balance, right? And so when we look at this, just know it's going to be a big year. And because it's about fire, so this is what kind of scared me a little bit. So we've got the fire horse. And then also traditionally the horse is known to be fire within, right? And so we've got a double fire. We've got the fire horse, but horse also represents fire within. And then we've got the fire horse, and I talked a little bit about this in my email. We've got the fire horse in the month of February, which February is known as a tiger month, and tiger is a trifecta of I think it's dog, tiger, and maybe horse, but I don't think it is horse. I think it's one other animal that represent fire. So we've got February is a fire month. We've got the fire horse, and then we've got horse. And then we've got the fire eclipse that happened yesterday, which means like, when the moon gets in front of the sun, or the sun gets in front, yeah, the moon gets in front of the sun, whatever, from the earth. The earth gets in front of this, whatever it is for the eclipse. There's a ring of fire around the moon. Okay, that's what we see. Because the moon can't totally block the sun. So I think it's called an annular eclipse. Anyway, so there was a ring of fire. So again, fire is coming to us on the 17th. And then in feng shui, there is a 180-year period or year cycle, 180-year cycle. And the 180 years are broken into 9 periods of 20 years. So each period represents an element, and then also like a person. So there's sister, brother, older sister, mother, father, all these different. And I don't know them well enough, but period 9 is fire governed. So the next 20 years are all about fire. But here's the good news. For women who are like, I think it's 35 to maybe 60, middle-aged women, this is your time. So this 9-year period, or this period 9 of 20 years, also represents the strength of the woman coming forward. So the previous 20-year period, and you'll find this really interesting, was all about older brother, and they call it the tech bro era. Now, obviously, that's a more recent term, but you could feel the energy. It was all about men, young men, right? Middle-aged men, getting not so much young. It was like the same as us. It was like men like 35 to like 60, really having a lot of power. And we saw that. But that's starting to end. So the period 9 started, I think, in 2024. So we're only a couple of years into this. So women, get ready. Now is your time. And I wanted to add that because one, of all the fire, but also two, to remind you that your voice is powerful. Your energy is powerful as women. And so I apologize to the men here. It isn't your time for the next 20 years. It's our time as women, but we have a lot of wisdom. And so it's our time to share it. And I wanted to share that with all of you to encourage you when you think about your dreams for 2026. Think about what you want and don't think with boundaries, don't think with limitations. Think about the best possible scenario for you, right? So even if like your dream is, oh, I wish I could be on social media more, right? And let's say, but you just are like, I just can't do that. What you can do is you can just start posting more, like without your picture or without video, just post stuff. Or you can start commenting. You can get your voice out there. And it's really important that your voice be shared. So I wanted to share that with you to kind of emphasize why it's really important for you to start following your dream and allow the fire horse to carry you, to give you that momentum. Because again, it's going to bring rapid transformation, big, bold changes, and that's okay. Change is okay. I mean, for me, I do not like change. I will stay to the bitter, bitter end because I do not like change. Sometimes I tell myself, that's just because I'm so loyal. And it's like, no, that's because you don't like change. So just know that change is okay. Change creates something better for us. Imagine if you were the same person you were 10 years ago, you wouldn't have experienced some of the really wonderful things that you've experienced. Like I think back to me and when I started learning animal Reiki in 2007 with Kathleen and where I am today, if things hadn't changed, where would I be? I mean, change was bringing SARA into the world, and change was getting more and more members into to SARA. So it's change is not always bad. Change can be really good. Momentum is good, right? You can't stay stuck. But momentum doesn't mean you have to go and do everything super fast. Do things slowly. Because if you start making slow steps today, think about where you'll be at the end of the year. So, like if your goal is to, let's say your goal is to teach animal Reiki, but you don't feel like you're ready, or just share animal Reiki like at your shelter and you don't feel you're ready. There's things you can do right now. You can do like the all is well mantra or the precepts every single day. And I guarantee you, after 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to have the inner strength to make a different move. And that might be reaching out to a shelter, maybe just to volunteer. And then you do that for a little while, 2 or 3 weeks. And then you add on to, well, maybe I'm going to start talking about what animal Reiki is. And so you can make little incremental moves. This doesn't have to be this big, powerful thing. You can make little moves. And by the end of the year, you're going to be shocked at where you are. Like, I know for me, so I ended or we ended the relationship in, I don't know, it was December of 2024. So throughout the year, I had to really work on a lot of things for myself. And then over the new year, I really like reflected on where I was then and where I am now. And it was huge. And it wasn't like I did everything overnight, and it wasn't like I didn't stumble and fall. I did. And I look back and I go, oh, I should have done that sooner, but I wasn't ready. And that's something, remind yourself when you're saying to yourself, I should have done this sooner, this should have happened for me sooner. Remind yourself, I wasn't ready. And it's okay not to have been ready. It's okay to do things slowly. You don't have to do things really quickly, right? But one thing I want to touch on is I want to touch on that we don't want to get overwhelmed by all the changes that are happening around us, right? Thank you, Angela, for that. We don't want to get overwhelmed by, oh, I've got to do this faster, because you're going to get in that energy. Because if you're open to it, you might have opportunities open for you, right? So I see Claudia, and I'm just going to pick on her for a moment. So, like, I know Claudia's been wanting to teach for a very long time. So, like, let's say she has this opportunity. Someone says, hey, we would love for you to teach an intro to animal Reiki class. And then Claudia's like, oh, okay, great. But then she's like, I don't feel ready. I don't feel ready. What are my choices? So that's when you have to Be calm, right? Like we talked about at the beginning. Go into mirroring that horse. Be calm, be grounded, be centered, and think, okay, my ego says I'm not ready, but am I ready? What does my heart say? And then you can just ask yourself, what does it feel like if I allow myself to teach this class? What does it feel like if I say no to this? And allow yourself to feel that energy. What is pulling you more? Now, if you're like me, I'm a spaz, so I get spazzy feelings about both. So I have to really sit and calm and center myself. Okay, and it's slightly more less anxious when I say yes than when I say no, right? Because for me, I get all nervous and crazy about everything. I am literally a spaz, you guys. So it's like even though I can do calm and I can be calm around animals, when it comes to my own like personal decisions and choices, oh my God, I am literally a spaz. And so even when I meditate, I'm like, okay, okay, how does that feel? How does that feel? Okay, okay, that feels good. Okay, oh, well, that feels good too. So I have to really like sit and like slice it and go, okay, this one feels slightly less, whatever it is, or slightly more, whatever I want. So just remember that we want to stop. If we're feeling overwhelmed, if we're feeling confused, we're feeling rushed, like Claudia, like I don't know if I'm ready, make sure you take that time and take a pause. Pauses are so important. So we were talking about all the fire, right? There's so much fire. There's no water, and water is stillness. So we have to bring that into this year on our own. We have to bring that stillness, the calmness of water. So just think of yourself when you're meditating, just like maybe you're meditating by a lake. Maybe you're meditating by a river. I'm really lucky. I see the river every day. So I remind myself, just be calm. The river also reminds me, don't fight. Don't fight the flow. Go with the flow. Don't fight things just because you think, oh, it should be like this, or oh, it can't be like this. No, just go with it. As long as you're not causing harm or it's not causing harm to you, go with things. Don't fight things because we get in our ego and think, well, that's not the way that's supposed to be, or that's never happened like that before. We don't want to be fighting. We want to bring in the qualities of water, which is, it's receptive, it can be soft, it's replenishing, right? It's nourishing, but the stillness of water cannot be understated. And that's what we need to bring in. So we just want to make sure that we're just bringing in that water, that we're bringing in that stillness, especially when we're feeling that overwhelm. We talked last week about the overwhelm or last week, I'm getting confused here, but just in making sure that we're not overwhelming ourselves with our I have tos or I should be. We don't have to do that anymore. We really need to start thinking about ourselves. And this isn't in like the way I was raised in, like the 60s and 70s. Well, I was born in 64. So from then on, it's basically if you're thinking about yourself, you're being conceited or selfish. And that was a really negative way to be raised because we should be thinking of ourselves because we can't be of service to anyone else if we're depleted. And we talked a little bit about that. We talked about, God, I can't even, I'm too caught in the fire hose, but our last topic of burnout. So just making sure that you're not saying yes to everything. It's okay to say no. In fact, you have to say no. And the most successful people in the world say no to more things than they say yes to. And you have to remember that, especially because I'm sure 99% of the people here are people pleasers. And when you're a people pleaser, it's really easy to get depleted. So we just want to make sure that we're not saying yes to everything, that we're really cognizant of what our own limitations are and where we want to go. Because if you say yes to everything, then you're becoming a very wild and untamed horse, right? And that's not what Fire Horse is. Fire Horse is very centered, very grounded, but she's got momentum, right? A horse that is like not disciplined, right? Kind of scared and anxious, they're going to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You don't want to be that horse. You want to be the pillar of strength, right? And again, you can easily do this with our practice. So just be cognizant if you're feeling irritable or you're feeling, this is what happens to me like I get emotionally numb, especially if I get on social media, which I try not to do, but I do love my dodo videos. And so sometimes I go down other rabbit holes that I shouldn't be going down. And then I'm just like numb and I'll just like space out. I just sit there and zone out. That's my version of emotional numbness. Or I'm just so burnt out on everything, I just do nothing. Or if you have difficulty sleeping, even though you're exhausted and you're so tired, you still can't sleep. That's another way of knowing, hey, I'm feeling depleted. What can I stop and change, right? And you can change things. We talked about this when we were talking about burnout before. There are things that you can let go of, especially remember if you're a people pleaser. And also, if you're a control freak like me, it's really hard to let go of things, but we have to. I've learned the hard way, especially when I had COVID for 3 months and I literally could barely even get out of bed. And then I had long haul COVID. I had to really start just cutting things out that weren't absolutely essential. And you realize the world still revolves and it's actually you feel better in your heart and in your body when you're not so tapped out. And so when you're forced to, like, and I'm going to open it to Kelly, when you're forced to rest, then you're like, okay, I have to make changes whether I want to or not. And we don't want to get to that point, right? We don't want that to happen to us. Because when I got COVID, oh my gosh, you guys, I had three businesses. I had just hosted, created the very first marijuana edibles virtual summit. I had 45 of top speakers, experts, and I did most of the interviewing. I had a partner, but she wasn't that great. And I did probably like 75% of the interviews, and I was in charge of all of the marketing and blah, blah. Okay. So it was 4 days of the actual summit, not to mention the build up to the summit, not to mention my businesses that I had to run. And so, hello, no wonder I got COVID. No wonder the universe is like, you can't sustain this. You're going to kill yourself. Remember, even though it seems like the universe isn't looking out for us, it's like, oh my gosh, I got COVID and I had it for 3 months and I could barely move. And when I say I got COVID, the first 10 days were like I was hit by a car. I have my journals and I open them and it's just me scrolling. I am in so much pain because I wanted to document my journey. But some days I was just like, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't watch TV, couldn't read, couldn't do anything. I just laid there just in so much pain that couldn't get taken away. So the universe will make it so that you have to slow down. So we don't want to do that, especially in this year of the fire horse. We don't want to get caught up and moving so quickly and all of a sudden, boom, we crash and burn. We just don't want that. And remember, our practice will keep us in that center. I cannot emphasize this enough. Your practice, whatever that is going to keep you strong. And again, the all is well mantra, if you don't know the precepts, if you don't know the Reiki precepts, which if you know Reiki precepts, those are my go-to. I encourage you to do those because they create that inner deep sense of grounding. It keeps you out of anger, it keeps you out of worry. Not that you won't worry or get angry, you will, but it keeps you from staying angry or staying worried. And it keeps you in that energy of compassion, not only compassion for others, but compassion for yourself. But if you don't know the precepts, I am safe. I am safe. I am loved. All is well. You are safe. You are loved. All is well, right? So even like in your family, if someone is going through something, you don't have to necessarily say the mantra out loud to them, but you can say it in your heart. You are safe. You are loved. All is well. And everything always works out for you. Everything always works out for you. We can always say that. No matter what it is, everything will work out however it's supposed to work out. Now, I'm going to open it up because I want to open it up to Kelly if she wants to. She can't go on camera, I don't think, but she can maybe hopefully unmute and talk to us. And then while we're waiting for Kelly, I'll just read what's in the chats. So Emily says, thank you for sharing that. Been really feeling that shift coming, but not knowing where it came from. Brought combative energy around like it needed to prove it was our time, but now I can just embody it. Yes. Yes, we don't have to be shrill, Emily. We don't have to be like, oh, it's my time. They're going to know it's your time by your strength, right? We have to embody our own strength. And Ivana says, I feel this, Leah. Thank you for sharing. And then Rebecca says, stillness is in the hara. So if for those of you who may not know, the hara is your belly. It's like two finger widths below your belly button. It's your center. It's your, or it could be, I think that's where your root chakra is. So if you know chakras, it's your root chakra. But Rebecca says, stillness is in the hara, your belly, along with the element of water. I believe there is ammo. Yes, yes, absolutely. The element of water is there, right? We're connected to earth. We're connected to that water element through that. So I'm not sure.
I'm
Kelly,
here.
oh, there she is. Okay. Hey, Kel.
I'm on screen even. Ooh,
What? You are?
didn't have
Oh
a
my gosh,
camera
how
on.
good can you? Because,
Jim helped me wash my hair this morning
oh, that
in
was
the
so
sink.
sweet of him.
You know how that makes you feel so much better, right?
Yes, when your hair is washed. Oh my
Oh
gosh,
yeah.
absolutely. So
Yeah.
Kel, tell us.
Well,
Tell us
first of all,
about.
thank you everyone for all the Reiki that I'm getting because it's definitely making a difference. But yeah, I was laughing with Leah because I just thought the universe said you need to slow down, so I'm going to slap you down, but I'm going to support you after and take care of you because so many interesting things happen that to make the journey somewhat easier and just people showing up at the at an unusual time. When I fell, I had two surgeons and an ER doctor that saw me, and they came right away. And I was skiing alone, so I had I was right under the chair when it happened, luckily. But things like that, like it just happened, and with all the Reiki, I was able to have the second surgery in 5 days instead of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So the swelling went down so much from the Reiki that they were able to get in there. And yesterday I had my drain taken out a week early. So all this Reiki's coming has really been helpful. And so I had a lot of reflection time in between surgeries. And I was really overwhelmed by the kindness that I had coming at me constantly. And just makes me teary-eyed thinking about it. But it's just such a hard world right now, and to hear, all the other stuff that's going on out there, but then these all these kindnesses really help me. And so my goal through this 10-week, can't put weight on it for 10 weeks, is to be curious about what's happening with me emotionally and physically, and I'm journaling a lot. And I have my totem for one of my totems for the year is tortoise. Like, of course it is. So it's like tortoise with, you're low to the ground, you're taking your time, you're being patient, and like Leah said, all is well, really. I mean, it's a struggle. It's, you know, difficult some days. Mainly my arms hurt so bad from hauling myself around. But I also took time to take care of myself too. And you were saying something, Leah, about, everything's so, important, but when you stop like that unexpectedly, nothing really is that important. There's a lot of things that I could just let fall to the side for now, and things I really want to get back to. I'm excited to restart a class again tonight. But really, the to take the time and just focus on my healing was not the way I operate. I just plow through things like, oh, it's gonna be fine. And this time I was like, nope, this is a big one, and I have to just take my time. And I also went into it as I was laying in the hospital, just kind of thinking it's gonna be up and down, up and down. But actually, the down has been a lot less than the up. And asking for help is a huge thing for me, and I think it is for a lot of women. So it's really hard for me to ask for help, and I had to kind of, well, I have to do it. I mean, I can't do a lot of things. So all of that is like amazing learning opportunities, right? So, so again, I just thought like, well, the universe slapped me down, but it was like, you're going to get something out of this, girl, and you're going to learn something, and I'll support you through the whole thing. So, um, the fire horse energy kind of cracked me up because I'm going to be a limping fire horse for most of for the spring. But the important things that I really want to do, I had to cancel a lot of stuff I was excited about, but they'll be there for another time. And I just grateful for this practice, constantly going back to the precepts, constantly.
Yeah.
And just, one moment at a time, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, whatever I need. But also just I think just the most beautiful thing was just the people who helped me so much, It was amazing. I didn't want to leave the hospital because I was being so well taken care of. I had this great team of women, and I was just like, I never get nurtured like this. So I think that happens a lot of times when women wind up in the hospital for a little bit. They're just like, somebody's taking care of everything. Yeah. So a bit of a struggle here and there, but for the most part, just listening to my body, which I don't normally do either. So I'm a lot of time to go within, catching up on some books I've had for a while, and really getting into some reflection and journaling time.
Yeah, well, and the reason I love that too is because it like embodies what the fire horse is about. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you might have some really hard, difficult times, but if you're open to it, there are so much good that is going to come out of this supposedly, bad thing. It's a reset. It's
Hmm.
not a devastation. It is a reset. I know Rebecca, who's on the call, she's going
Thank
through
you, Joan.
sort of the same thing. And we just have to remember that miracles happen. I know for you, thank you so much to everyone who's giving support to Kelly because she actually got her drain out a week early. And so there's things that happen, right, Kel?
Yeah, there were a lot of things. I was really shocked at how quickly they did the second surgery. I had a big external fixator or whatever it's called on my leg to hold it in place until I could get the swelling down. But it went down so fast right after the virtual retreat.
Yeah,
And they saw me Sunday and he was like, "We're going to stop your food. And if it looks this good tomorrow, we're going to do the surgery," which was totally unexpected. So took that burden of having to come home and go back out too. So there are a lot of gifts like that in there. And I think when something like this happens, if we can be open to, the learning experience, and I'm not gonna say it's easy. I mean, it's like,
no.
and I was so the most revealing thing that happened to me was a couple of days ago when I realized I am so fucking mad at myself. It wasn't anything else. It was just like, God damn it, there's so much I wanted to do, and look what I have. Look what happened. It wasn't like I was blaming myself or anything, but it was just like I was so mad. And then I was like, that tracks. I mean, of course I'm mad. I
Yeah.
had a lot on the plate for this spring and summer that I was looking forward to. So, in the end, I think we don't grow if we don't have things happen, right? We don't learn anything if things are going along smoothly all the time. And for the most part, things go along smoothly for me. So this is a real rewind and just like, okay, stop in your tracks and, really stop in your tracks. So, yeah, I think that the support of the community has been amazing, and that's
Yeah.
what I love about this community is that people are stepping up and sending Reiki and reaching out to check on me and all of those things I wouldn't have had years ago.
No, you wouldn't have. And well, you weren't ready. Like I talked about that a little bit too, like we weren't ready and now is the time. So again, it's like we can look at Kelly as our example. Things might happen. They might be big. I know Rebecca's going through that too, but it doesn't mean that it's the end. It doesn't mean that this is devastation, that nothing's going to get better. It actually is just a reset. And if you believe good things are going to come out of it, good things will. And so I just wanted to take a second. Joan O'Connor said, healing blessings to you, Kelly. And then Rebecca said, I healed super well due to Reiki too. And Barbara said, so glad to hear this. And Lisa Stevens says, this was wonderful. Have to log off, but looking forward to the next day. Well, thanks to Lisa for coming. But yeah, so thank you so much, Kel. I'm gonna now I want us all. I know Kelly kind of set her intent for the next 3 months, and I like that too, Kelly. Thanks for doing that because the we don't have to do to the whole year if that's overwhelming, right? Just do
Mhm.
what's my goal for the next couple months, right? We
Right.
don't have to do, okay, I want to do this because especially if it feels overwhelming. Like, I don't know what necessarily I want to do. I know I want to make these Wednesday calls better, and I want to get animal Reiki into more shelters. So you might see some changes this year in SARA because I think we really need to start supporting, all of you more. And so I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. So my intent for this year is just going to be how to make SARA a bigger resource for more people around the world. And I don't know exactly what that is. So I want you all to just, you don't have to do it now, but if you can, just, and you can even put it in the chat if you want, think about something that you want to accomplish either in the next 3 months or the next 6 months or the next year. And really make that commitment to do it. And it doesn't, again, it doesn't have to be big. It could be something as easy as, like for me, one of the things that I have made a commitment to doing is I hate exercise. I hate exercise so much. So I have made a commitment to do at least 20 minutes every morning, and I've been really good about it. So I have that, and that is going to be my goal, and hopefully I'll increase it, but I don't know. I hate exercise, so I don't know if that'll happen. But for right now, I'm good enough with 20 minutes. But my goal then is to just keep it, right? No matter what, no matter what's happening, I have to do 20 minutes one time during the day, right? So I want all of you to think about that. And before because I want to have time to do a meditation with the fire horse, but before we do that, I want to just open it up and see if you have any questions about it, about what fire horse is bringing. Next week, we're going to talk more about horses and how to share Reiki with horses and what, it looks like to be with horses in that beautiful space. It's really quite amazing. And I still get students saying, oh, I wish I was at a private place, like some people are at boarding facilities or they're around horses, they're around people, because then I could do this. And I was like, no, you can just sit quietly. You don't have to do these things. So we'll talk next week about how you can be with horses and share that energy and learn from them and really connect with their deeper sense of stability, of strength, of um, calmness, peace, and also their intuitive nature, right? You can't be intuitive when you're stressed out and have all these thoughts running around in your head. You can't. That's called being in hyper beta. We can't have peace and calm when we're in hyper beta, which is why when we meditate, it's not like that all goes away. But what happens is even saying the all is well mantra, when we have a mantra and we repeat it, we're starting to give ourselves space. So then in that space, that's when you can start becoming more intuitive. Answers can start coming through. You have more peace. But in stillness is where the magic happens, not when we're worried or we're thinking about things or we're ruminating. We can't be intuitive in that space. It just isn't possible. And then Angela says, I hope my giving Reiki to Aloka. Oh, yeah. So, Angela, um, so I don't know if everybody saw, but we will take a minute to talk to Angela really fast. So, for those of you who don't know, Angela is a Let Animals Lead practitioner, and I don't know if you're a teacher or not, Angela, but she's also a member of SARA. And when she, learned about the Peace Monk Walk and Aloka, the dog, she started to share distant Reiki with Aloka. And then, Angela, I'll let you tell the rest of that little story about how you met Aloka.
Sure. Thanks, Leah. It's so nice to see you
Sure.
because your emails to me have been amazing and so
Mm.
positive. So
Thank
can
you
you all
so
hear
much.
me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I've been sending distance Reiki to Aloka and I live in Virginia and I had applied to be a volunteer for when the monks came through my area and last Friday night I was in Stafford, Virginia, which is about 30 miles south of Washington, D.C.
and the monks were passing through, and I was volunteering. And it was the day after World Animal Reiki Day. And of course, in my heart, I was very attached to wanting to give hands-on Reiki to Aloka. And of course, if you listen to any of the monks talking, it's don't be attached, let it go. So I kind of adopted that and just like, don't be attached, let it go. And when Aloka was brought out to be, seen by the hundreds of people that had gathered to witness the monks, I actually started to just send Reiki to Aloka from afar. And I was doing exactly what, Leah was mentioning. I was sending the, you are safe, you are loved, all is well. And I just crouched down and just put my hands out. Well, he came running towards me, and the guy with the leash, was running after him. Couldn't understand because what was going on. And Aloka pushed right up into my heart center, and I had my hands on him. And he probably hung out there for a good, 5, 6 minutes until he needed to be up on stage because he's like the star of the show. And it was really special. And if I think about it too much, I start to cry. But being able to share that space with him and being able to give him that hands-on Reiki was really amazing and really special. And I had my eyes closed, so I didn't even realize that a photo was taken. And then on Tuesday, I was in Washington, D.C. I had been selected to be a team leader when the monks were in Washington, D.C. And one of my yoga students emailed me a link to the New York Times and said, I think you're in the paper. And I opened up the link, and of all the pictures they selected, one of them was me giving Reiki to Aloka, which I'd like to have framed and put on my wall in a big 4 foot by 6 foot poster.
Yes. Oh my
So
God.
thank you.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for doing your comment, Angela, because and this is to all of you. I get caught up into what I'm talking about, and I saw you and I was like, "Oh yeah, we need to mention that," and then I forget. So I'm so glad you posted that because what I want to share about that with Angela is a couple of things. The fire horse loves intent, right? So if we look at Angela's story, her intent was, I really want to share hands-on Reiki with Aloka. Just even to be with Aloka, right? Even to have Aloka come up to you, that is huge. But her intent was, I really want to share Reiki with Aloka. And not only did that, and it makes me emotional. Not only did that happen for Angela with right, Angela, because you had this intent, but it was bigger than she possibly could have expected. Aloka was able to stay with her for 5 minutes. I mean, that's a long time, and especially when there's so much going on. And the fact that the New York Times captured it, and this is what I want to share with all of you. Yes, this incident happened to Angela. Yes, but it happened for all of us. We are all connected to Angela in this beautiful space, this beautiful through animal Reiki, of course, quantum physics, but through this beautiful animal Reiki, we are connected to her. And her joy is our joy. And, she and I were emailing, and I know she thinks I'm a total freak because I'm like, oh my God, I can't even, I just was like so overwhelmed because for me, that light that was created by that connection just reverberated out. And it was like a tsunami of energy going out. And it reminds all of us anything is possible. And intent is so important. Fire horse demands intent. It doesn't know where to take you if there's no intent. So you're going to go in fast circles nowhere, right? So thank you, Angela, for coming on and sharing this and being a part of this because we can share in her joy, but honestly, every time I talk about it, when I see Angela, we shared it on our social, I shared it in the email because it is such a huge moment for animal Reiki, for love and light, right? So here the monks are on this beautiful peace walk. Their dog is bringing so much peace. And thanks to Angela, we have this deep connection. We are a part of this historical event. Yes, we weren't there personally. They didn't even come by me, so that was a bummer. But through Angela, we have this connection, and I don't know, I just love it so much. So thank you for reminding me of that. I know we're going to go a little bit over because I do have to do the meditation, but I'm so glad that you came on, Angela, to share that. And I hope that you all feel that light and love that's being emanated by this whole experience that she had. And then I just want to read this. So Drea said, so love this. Jill said, this is so amazing. Beautiful and Moving by Barbara, Rebecca, really special with a little X. Joan says, lovely, Angela. Mary Ellen says, the Clever Cowgirl on YouTube is about a horse trainer who gets the occasional horse from low end auctions. Currently, she is training a young wild Mustang through a special BLM program. A lot of count. Oh, nice. And then Monique said, what a special moment. Aloka surely felt your heart. Yes, right? Another reminder. We don't have to be doing anything. We don't have to be, okay, I'm here to do this. We just open heart, right? We set that, like she said, it was all is well. You are safe. You are loved. All is well. And look what happened. So what a special moment. Aloka surely felt your heart. So happy for you, Angela. Emily Hall said, how can we make sure we aren't doing this important? You're wrong. I grew so much with the wood snake, but I don't want to disrespect this transition. Last year was slow, dark, and painful, but that's more what I'm comfortable with because it is familiar. Transitioning to fast and light seems like a new realm. Oh, I love this. I've prepared for, but keep falling into extremes of burning out and passion and then liminal depression. Yeah. So, Emily, one of the things we can do, so we'll start our meditation now, but connect with your horse. Be honest with your horse. I want slow change, right? You don't have to, like I said at the beginning, you don't have to do this really fast. Your horse is your horse. It's a fire horse, which means that fire horse is here to help you gain momentum. Fire horse is here to help you achieve what you want to achieve, right? It's all about getting out and doing more. So the snake, we shed all that baggage that was no longer working for us, and now we're lighter. And even though you might not feel lighter, Emily, you are a little bit lighter because you did shed some things. And I totally get, you're a snake. It's like you're coming out of the dark, right? It's like when you're in a dark room and then you come out into a bright room. It's like, oh my God, this is too much. It is too much. So just do it slowly. You don't have to go from, you don't have to be a Tesla 0 to 60. That's why I don't like Teslas. If you've ever ridden in a Tesla, it's horrible. I don't care what anybody says. I do not like going from 0 to 60. You get whiplash. And we don't want to do that with the fire horse. The fire horse is telling us, don't, no. Just because I'm fire, I mean, you think of a campfire. It's contained, it's controlled, it's comforting, it's warm, right? Your fire horse can be comforting and warm. So let's do a meditation. Let me see if I can talk and do music at the same time. Let me share my audio really fast. So we'll do, I know it's going to run us a little bit late, and if you have to go, I get that. But I do want to do a meditation. So let's see if we can. Okay, can you hear me and the music? Not? Okay, great. So we're going to go into Gasho and just give ourselves that. And I love Karen said, a horse can be slow and steady strength. Yes, I love that. So close your eyes if you feel comfortable to close out all outside distractions. And we're just going to take some cleansing breaths here, breathing in deeply through our nose, pulling our breath into our belly. Expand your belly and then slowly release your breath out your mouth. As if you were blowing out a candle, just very gently. Do a couple more of those breaths at your own pace, just making sure to pull your breath as far down into your belly as you can. And then when you release your breath, just extend your out breath a little bit longer than your in breath. Whenever you're ready, I want you to set your intent that you're open to receive whatever it is that you need most at this moment in time. That you're open to receive whatever it is that the fire horse brings to you. And always remember, the fire horse isn't negative, it isn't fierce, it is a gentle, loving horse that is going to help you achieve what might not have been possible before. And so let's take a moment to dedicate the energy that we're going to be creating for this meditation to anyone who needs extra support, any special animals, and also just to all sentient beings. Whenever you're ready, you can bring your hands face up or face down on your lap. And I just want you to focus on your breath. Feel your breath coming in through your nose. Feel the pull down the center line of your body into your belly. Expand your belly a little. And then feel your breath either out through your nose or through your mouth, whatever's most comfortable. And as you breathe in, imagine your breath is connecting you to the earth. Your breath goes down through your body into the earth. On the out breath, you're bringing that beautiful, strong earth energy back up into your body. Your breath is your direct connection to the earth, to stability, to strength, that beautiful grounded energy. Start to feel your body softening, and you feel that strength and stability. Even in your belly, if you're sitting in your chair, the whole bottom half of your body is nice, stabilized. Now I want you to bring your attention to breathing into your heart center. Imagine your breath coming into your heart. When it hits your heart, imagine your heart expanding and the feeling of the love that your heart expanding. And on your out breath, you expand that loving energy, expanding it throughout your body. Allow yourself to feel love and joy. You also feel stable, grounded. I'd like you to imagine your fire horse. And your fire horse can be like a pony. It can be big and strong like a Clydesdale. It can be weak and graceful like an Arabian racehorse. It can be any color you see. It can be multicolors. It can have fire at its heart, have fire around it, or it could just have the energy of fire, warm and comforting. Remember, fire doesn't always have to be dangerous. Fire is useful. Fire is helpful. The fire horse reminds you of this. See your fire horse and allow yourself to connect your heart to theirs. See a beautiful bridge of light and love between the two, connecting it. Allow yourself to feel the beautiful, loving energy of your fire horse. Your fire horse reminds you that it is there to help you through difficult times, to help you through good times, to help you find your momentum, and to help carry you to where you need to be. The fire horse is eager to help you. Their forehead is touching yours. Feel their hot breath in your chest. Feel the comfort that this fire horse brings. Fire horse reminds you that you have this energy within you. They are just symbolizing it for you. You don't have to fear the fire horse. The fire horse is gentle. The fire horse is loving. The fire horse is ready to move. The fire horse is going to gently guide you places that you've dreamed of but didn't think were possible. So imagine yourself putting your arms around the neck of the fire horse. Maybe you kiss the neck of the fire horse. Allow yourself to feel deep love and appreciation for your horse. And if you want, you can even imagine yourself getting on the back of the horse. And don't have any worries. The horse is being a beast of burden. They're not. They're being a partner. The fire horse wants to be a partner with you. You don't need reins. You don't need a saddle. You need nothing but your love and your presence. The fire horse is only here to help you move, to help you let go of boundaries. Their presence is all the fire horse needs. Just allow yourself to sit for a moment in this energy. Energy of love and gratitude and peace. Allow yourself to feel very stable. Mind starts to wander and is brought back to your horse. You can imagine yourself either connecting by touching your horse, maybe you're on your horse, galloping. The fire horse is here for you. The fire horse is going to help you reach your goals and whenever you're ready, bring your hands into Gasho, but keep your eyes closed. Keep your fire horse with you. And let us give thanks. We give thanks to the fire horse. We give thanks to ourselves for being here. And I give thanks for this beautiful day. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Bring yourself back. So thank you, everyone. Next week, we're going to talk more about horses because I feel like this just kind of opened it up. And it's really important for us to honor horses and really understand and realize all the beautiful gifts they bring us. So even if you don't have access to horses, you can look at pictures of horses. And if you're driving by, you can see horses, make a connection because they are really incredible beings. And this year, it is their year and it is our year. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Jill. I'm so glad you could make it. So great seeing you. Thank you for coming on camera too. And thank you so much, everyone. Miranda, it was so great seeing you. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's really nice to see you. And Angela, thank you so much for coming. Yeah, Angela, go ahead. Let me turn this.
One thing I was going to mention with horses is if you have a facility near you that does, like here in Northern Virginia, Polo is really big.
Yeah.
And Polo is really stressful for the horses because there's mallets coming out their heads and the balls are going everywhere and it's so much energy. So I know that near me in Northern Virginia, a lot of the stables where the polo horses are kept love to have people come in and offer Reiki to the horses because it really helps to reduce all that stress and anxiety after a polo match. If you have access to, to that in your area.
Yeah, anything like if there's a rescue or if there's like a therapy horse facility, you can just say too, if we don't have to say Reiki because sometimes that can be a little polarizing. You can say I meditate with horses and my calm energy helps them to be calm. So there's lots of different ways we can talk more about that next week. And Miranda says, thank you. It's so nice to be here again after a long while. The meditation with horse, beautiful. Thank you. And yeah, Karen, also equine therapy organizations, absolutely. So many different, yes, thank you, Joan. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, Kelly, and thank you for sharing your story with us. And we're all sending, I dedicated that little meditation space to Kelly, definitely. So keep her in your Reiki sessions. But yes, thank you, Joan, so much for coming. And I can't wait to see you all next week. And we will talk more about horses and all the great things horses bring and okay, yeah, thanks for that, Angela. So Angela said maybe try not to play the music because sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's fine and then sometimes it's not. So yeah, we'll not do the music next time. So thank you so much for that. All right, everyone, have a beautiful week and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.